If you want to see the cards, then jump ahead. You can skim. You're smart enough. You've been on YouTube a few times before. You know how to do that. You can see me showing the cards up close. But this isn't just a review of the cards. I'm going to be doing a deeper exploration of the idea behind Magic the Gathering, Proxies, and what that means, because I did not like the idea of Proxies for quite a while. And there were two main reasons that I had, I'll call it a hang-up, excuse me, about Proxies. The first one was that you were doing something wrong. Here's this game. People have put time and energy and effort and thought into making these card pieces. More on that in a second. And you're depriving those people, that company, of money. Okay, you can't say that there's no argument to be made there. I guess you could. But there is something of an argument to be made there. Maybe not for Wizards of the Coast anymore, but at one point when they were new and fledgling, or let's say a different card game like Flesh and Blood when that was first coming out. If somebody else came along and started selling boxes, maybe the printer had access to the print runs and was able to sell the alpha boxes of Welcome to Wraith, which at least at one point in time were going for in the neighborhood of $5,000. I'm curious what they are now. It doesn't really matter, but let's say it's about the same. If you could sell those and make $5,000 a pop, that's not bad. I don't know what your margin would be, but if you have access to the printer and you can pull off a box every day, that's pretty good. And slowly sling them onto the market. Let's say not even once a day, but once a month. Once a month at $5K is enough to pay rent in most places. So that would hurt the economy, hurt the world, the secondary market of Flesh and Blood. Can that argument be made, at least at the time when it was still brand new, back in 2000, and it's been out for 5 years now, so I guess 2019, something like that, heading right into the pandemic? Can that argument be made for Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro these days? I don't know. I don't know. And I said more on that in a second. I wonder if Wizards, given their... It's not just Wizards, but Wizards has talked about using AI for D&D. There was that tweet that was going around, or the comment from a blog post, I saw it on Twitter, where some designer or one of the people behind D&D was saying, "Oh, I regularly play with 30 people." Okay, you do? Have you ever played D&D? That's not how it works. Do you mean that you have multiple groups? You've got 5 people here, 5 people. You've got 6 different 5-person groups that you play with? That's hard to believe. If you're running this company or some large, I'm not a higher up at a large company, so I don't have nearly those responsibilities, and I have a hard time finding time to play a single game of Magic, let alone the hours that is required to have a campaign running in D&D. So you don't really seem like you know what you're talking about. Anyhow, he talked about using AI, I believe. Maybe I'm conflating two different tweets. But if they are using AI, Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro at large, then it would not surprise me if Wizards is using AI to create cards. All you would have to do is take ChatGPT or whatever, Gemini, any of these different things, some some diffusion model, dump in every Magic the Gathering card, ask it to make you a black card that costs 1 mana. Here you go. Boom. It spits out 300 different versions. Oh, okay, yeah, we like this one. Let's tweak that a little bit. Let's use this. Let's do that. It would not be difficult at all to get an AI to start shitting out Magic cards left, right, front, and center. All right. What was the other argument? The finance side of things. And I mean the personal finance side of things. And I was of the mind that if you purchased something like, let's say a good example is the dual lands. These revised list lands that are never going to be reprinted, and they haven't, kind of have, I don't know, in a way. Ever again is the promise that they've made, and by and large they've stuck to it. Is that a good investment? Does it beat, at the very least, or break even with, year over year, the S&P 500? And if the answer is no, then it's not really worth putting your money into. And if you can tell by my background and my hat, there's really only one thing I'm paying attention to when it comes to investments, and it's not Magic the Gathering cards. It was at one time. Now, I hadn't done any sort of deep investments. I watched Rudy, and I learned a fair bit about that whole idea. And the one major holdback for me was, well, I've got this physical product. I have to actually keep it in good condition, and what if something happens to it? What if it happens to burn up in a fire? What if it happens to get water damage? I've seen multiple people sharing horror stories about how their cards fell into something spilled. One guy had his cards in a basement and on a shelf, and the basement flooded out of the blue. I think he was at work, so he had no idea, couldn't get to it. GG investment. There you go. Oh, well, those underground seas would be still worth something. Yeah. But if you spend $600, $700 a pop on each of them, and now they're water damaged, you're looking at least a 50% reduction. Now they're the damaged category. Let's say you got them not near mint or something like that, but maybe played. Some of the little marks, a little bit scuffed. They've been around the block. They've been used, but solid, decent cards. Yeah, water damage is going to reduce that value. I first dabbled with proxy cards, if you want to call them counterfeit cards, proxy cards, whatever you want to call them, have at it. But I first dabbled with them, I want to say it was like, between 4 and 6 years ago. And I could not tell you who I went through. I do not recall. It might have been Bootleg Mage, maybe. I don't even know if Bootleg Mage was around at the time. I don't know. All I remember is that when I got the cards, I was like, oh, these are clearly not cards. You could feel the difference. And this is one of the things that I asked in the Discord. How do they feel? And people are like, what do you mean? If you put them in a sleeve, it doesn't matter how they feel. No, it does matter how they feel. It matters a lot to me. Because if I pull out a card and it's stiff, like it's really stiff. Like if you've ever held a Final Fantasy trading card, the game from Final Fantasy, one of those cards, it feels like, I don't know, like a bicycle playing card. You touch them, and the very first time that you do, you're like, oh, this is different. These I had never felt a TCG cards that felt like that. This is very different. Well, the consistency of quality with Magic cards is so varied these days. They've got printers in Belgium, I think, printers in Japan, maybe even other places. I think they get their cards printed through Cardamundi, which is same as Flesh and Blood, and I don't know where Bootleg Mage gets his cards printed from, but it seems like the same kind of machine. I even ripped one open because I was curious. It was the thank you thing. So let's start talking about the cards. So I don't know how well you'll be able to see on this camera, but I ripped this one open. It was the Gratitude of the Bootleg Mage. And there are multiple layers to this. It's not just a piece of printer paper. I don't know how well you can see that there. That lens doesn't really do macro. My camera does. So cut to me showing you some of the cards. There you go. Enjoy that. Right, so I ordered some cards from Bootleg Mage here, and I've got them. And I opened them up to see what the packing list had, and because I made 2 orders and I wasn't sure if they got combined because the shipping wasn't happening. I have not opened these or felt them at all. And so what I intend to do, if I can find a cloth here, is mark them. I don't want to feel them, is what I'm trying to avoid right now. And then I'm going to mark them so that I can clearly tell which ones are which. And then maybe mix them up a little bit with some real ones and see if I can tell the difference. So let's see if I can do this without touching them. I don't want to feel any difference. I don't know how they will feel. This is not something I ordered, but apparently he sends in little gifts occasionally. Okay, so let's see if I can squeeze these out. It looks like they might all be in sleeves in here. Yeah, sleeve. Alright. Okay, so I'll set that one aside. I have a reel of that so I can compare that, actually. Just set these aside. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Sharpie, or mark slot, and mark along the side here. On the top. Like that. Okay. Now I'm going to take a few real cards. So I've got these are real ones that I purchased from Card Kingdom. Hymn to Torque, Sunken Runes, Ponder, Retrofitter. Don't need all those. Swamp Island, Drown the Lock. Okay, so I've got an assortment here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix these together. To do. Okay, so thus far, there's different colors between the backs. This one I'm guessing is not a real. The edges feel a little different there. This one feels rough. I don't know. This one has a slick back. Slick. That's a little different color there. More brown. One. Okay. So let's just go off of backs here. I guess I can kind of see the side, but okay, so that's not real. Let's see if I can use a phone here to shine a light through the back and see if that does anything. Phone, there we go, there's a flashlight to come through. Barely. Hardly. Okay, so this one is not real. I'm going to say not real. Yeah. Right. Not real. Okay, yeah. Curious how that one compares to the real one. Not real. Yeah. No. Yes. Okay, that's the island. Yes. Okay. No. Oh, okay, that was real. No. No. Yes. Yes. Okay, no. That's okay, I can see the marks on those, but yes. Okay. No. Oh, yep. I think this one has a mark, so I don't think that's real. Okay. But this one feels real. And let's see. I'll do macro. I mean, I don't have real ones of these to see the difference, but let's see here.
this is real. These are not. So real, not real. Real, not real. So the lines are different. Pointer of some sort, whatever. The foiling is a little different. It's more vibrant on the real one. But I honestly like the detail that I can see in the proxy better. This is all kind of washed out. The difference is there's no way that somebody would just spot this. That there's no, I guess the hand, is it the sizing any different? No. Here, I'm gonna ask my wife. Here. Let me make sure I can tell the difference. Here, yeah. Here, you tell me which one's real. Hand me the real one and then hand me the fake one. I guess if you hand me the fake one or the real one, then it'll be easy enough to tell.
Wait, I'm supposed to hand you the real one or the fake one?
Whatever, just tell me which is which.
Oh, I think this one's fake.
Okay, she got it wrong. So.
So you can do foiling.
What do you mean? Do the fake people do foiling?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know.
Did you think one of these, did you think they were, these are both foil?
Oh. One looks significantly less foil than
Yeah. It is, when I do it in the camera, it doesn't look all that different. But when I'm looking at it with my eyes, it does, like straight on. Let me see if I can get that effect. Okay, there you can kind of see it in the camera. Now, this is basically how it looks. I'm looking at the camera right now. This is kind of how it looks to my eyes. And then this one, it's interesting. The not real, the foiling only shows up when you're kind of looking for it, when you're twisting, whereas the foiling on the real is just sort of there. And I don't think that it's different versions. Like, I think the foiling is always the same on this particular card. Let's see the text. So the text is, let's get the zoom in here. This is the real one on the right. I know I had it the other way around, but the text is not foil. And it's kind of rough around the edges. It's different, but it's not like, oh wow, that is wrong different. It's just almost like there's a foggy layer over the whole of the real one that isn't there over this one. But I actually prefer that. I like how this looks better. The back is a little bit rougher. This one is overall just more smooth. The real is a little bit more smooth. Mm-hmm. Okay. Wife says, I don't know if that picked up, but she says that the foiling on the, which one? The proxy reminds her of foiling on certain Flesh and Blood cards. And that did have a different foiling. Let's see what else we've got here. So, the Aether Vial, okay. Marktide Regent. I don't have reels of these to compare. So, I'll get to the macro here. If I had picked these out of a binder and I didn't know that these were proxies, I would not know. There were some that I got years ago, 3, 4, oh gosh, I think like 5 years ago, where you could tell immediately out of the, it's like, oh, these are clearly proxies. They were super thick, like they didn't have any sort of bend. Let's just do a bend test here. Corner to corner. And then how does it come back? Shouldn't crease. Yeah. I mean, these are really well done. I like Urza. I started playing during Urza Saga, so We've got the little dealie there, whatever they call that, the hollow stamp. Orcish Bowmasters. These are the Italian full border, black border tundras, which I don't have any of these. That's for damn sure. And these feel like the Magic cards. The slickness, like that feels almost identical to a Magic card, or certain ones. Although that is kind of shiny back there compared to like these Bowmasters here. And that there's something that is noticeable about most of these. The cut, it's like it's stamped out, and so there's a kind of an edge here. Like if you run your finger along the side, it doesn't catch per se, but you can tell it kind of curls up just at the tiniest bit. I don't know if you can see that. No. But this one is kind of it's not rough, but it has a minimal texture to it, and this one is really smooth, the Tundra here. Gratitude of Bootleg Mage. I don't even know what this card does. I didn't even know it was a card. Add new cards to your collection at a fraction of the price. Oh, I see. It's a joke card. Got it. Okay. Okay. Free gift. Oh, what do we got here? Ugin's Labyrinth and Lightning Greaves. Alright. Cool. Good stuff. Another Tundra. Some Underground Seas. Cavern of Souls. And Seed of Synods. Alright.
Okay, now that we're back, I can talk to you about the cards here. And I did something to all of these cards because I do want to be able to keep track. And I do not think that if I mix these in with my other cards and time passed on, that I would have any clue which ones were real and which ones were not. They are that close. And they're so close even that some of the cards have a slick feel. Some of them kind of have a rough feel, like these Aether Vials that I've got here. They have a little bit more of a rough feel. But there are cards in Magic the Gathering that have that rough feel. You'll go from one set and it's kind of flimsy and thin. And it's kind of got a waxy almost feel, which is very much like these Tundras, these full black border Italian Tundras. And I have some Underground Seas. Nere Sotterraneo. And there's difference in how they feel. There is one thing I'm going to talk about here in a second that is unlike Magic cards, and I'll mention that in a second. So at least in terms of the inconsistency of quality, and I don't mean that negatively, it's inconsistent. That is exactly spot on with how cards are coming out of Wizards of the Coast now. Okay, so the one thing that I noticed almost immediately when I was feeling them, and I have fixed this, I'll explain it here in a second, was, I don't know how to describe this other than, imagine you have a roll of cookie dough, and then you take your cookie dough cutter, your cookie cutter, and you mash out a circle, and then you mash out a circle, and you keep on doing that. Well, maybe a better analogy would be, imagine a whole bunch of pieces of paper. Yeah, I guess this is a better way to think of it. Think of a stack of papers, like a sheet of cards. You've probably seen those, a full sheet of cards. And then imagine there's a cookie cutter coming down, a card-shaped cookie cutter cutting down through multiple rows. Well, that blade, assuming this is how it's done, I have no idea, is going to push a portion of that card down. So the back edge, how do I describe this? It's almost like it wrapped around. So the front, if you ran your fingers along it, you wouldn't feel anything. It'd be kind of smooth. You wouldn't notice anything. But on the back, if you ran your finger along to the outside edge, it would catch right on the edge. Just ever so, like, it's not even the width of a hair. It'd be like a tenth of a hair. It's just, but it's enough that your fingers can pick it up. You're like, oh, that is a little bit different. And that was something that was consistent with every single one of these, except actually the full border tundras, the Italian tundras, and the underground seas. So that must be a slightly different process. Those are the ones that have that almost waxy feel to them. But every other card here, I've got Aether Vial, I've got Cavern of Souls, Lightning Greaves, Seed of the Synod, Chrome Mox, Misha's Bauble, Orcish Bowmasters, Urza, Lord Protector, Murktide Regent, and, well, it's more Orcish Bowmasters. They all had that feeling, except those dual lands. Don't know what it is about the manufacturing process. Maybe it is a cookie cutter type thing. So what I did is I just took each card and then took a surface. Well, I was just on the edge of a table, and I just ran the card along the edge to kind of basically sand that down and get rid of it because it was bothering me. Well, what does it matter to you, man? You're going to play with sleeves anyways. Yeah, I probably am, but knowing that it was there bugged me. So now that I've done this, I don't feel it on many of them at all. It's the smooth rounded on all of them. And I even, as an experiment, I don't think this will show up, I took a nail file, one of those emery boards, and went on the back of that. I don't know if you can see that white there, and which was a bit too aggressive. It worked, but it was a bit too rough. So I definitely didn't need to go quite that hard with it. So it was actually multiple processes. What I did is at first I did it on the table, and then I took a letter opener and just ran that. Kind of like, you could probably do this with the back of any knife or something, and just went like this. Just scrape that, get rid of that. Kept it against my finger so that it had the kind of a little bit of a bounce, but it kept it pressed up there, and just ran that along there. And ran that along there. Kind of like I'm cutting it off, but I didn't want to use a sharp edge because that would actually cut into it. Just wanted to use a hard edge to kind of grind that hair's, that tenth of a hair's width edge, just grind it away because it would bother me. That's it. Now, my brother, out of the blue, knowing that I play Magic, asked me recently, hey, I forget exactly what he asked, but he was looking to get into Commander because some of his buddies play, and he was wondering, how much does it cost? Where do I even begin? How do I build a deck, etc.? And I said, well, think up what you want to do, whatever that is. I want to make infinite zombies. I want to make unicorns. Whatever you can imagine, more or less, and you can probably build it in Magic. Dogs, unicorns, rats, ninjas, rogues, warriors, dragons. You get the idea. I said, start there, figure out what you want to do. Go to EDH, REC, and then start looking for commanders that speak to you. Oh, I like the look of this guy. I like that one. And then you can select a budget, and I gave him the rundown. So I gave him, as I just said, the rundown. Then I was saying, but be prepared to spend a decent chunk. And also be prepared that once you get your deck, let's say you spend $50, $100 on it, whatever, let's say $100. Or you buy a precon for $50 or something. I like this one. Be prepared to start going, well, this one gets me tokens, but this other one gets me double tokens. And if I'm doing tokens, then I could do this, and then there's this thing which gives me counters. I'm already kind of doing counters, so then there's double. It never ends. It never ends. Well, I may as well. I mean, if I'm doing counters, I really should be in green, and there's really no reason not to go 5 colors at this point. And if I'm going to do that, then I guess I need dual lands because you need dual lands, right? Like you want those. So let's get one of each of those, and then And what else can I do? Oh, let's get a track. It just where do you end? But then I said, you can also save yourself a shit ton of money by going to Bootleg Mage and going that route. And what would cost you potentially hundreds or thousands, or yes, quite literally tens of thousands of dollars, will cost you $50, $75, $100, something like that, $20. And you get a bunch of underground seas, and there you go. You're looking, even the least expensive ones are hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So you buy 3 of those for $12, and you just saved yourself, I don't know, what, $2,500, something like that. It's like, wait. And this comes back to the whole point of, well, yeah, but maybe you're hurting Wizards of the Coast. No, you're not. You're not. They're making money hand over fist at this point. They have the perpetual money-making machine that is Magic the Gathering. They've got Arena. They've got Magic Online. They've got all their various other things that they've got their fingers into. Your purchase of $100. Let's say that you were an incredibly big buyer, and I don't mean a store like when, I don't know, Star City Games or Card Kingdom buys pallets upon pallets upon pallets of cards because they're selling the singles and they're buying. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about as an individual hobbyist. Hey, I'm gonna go and buy some cards. First off, Wizards of the Coast doesn't make any money directly off of secondhand sales. Not one. Not at all. They make money from sealed product. So unless you're buying boxes, then you're not helping them at all anyways. So that argument is immediately thrown out the window. So if you're buying singles, then you're helping Bob's Billy Willie Tickle and Tug on TCG Player. You're helping Wizard's Keep or Dragon's Lair or the Lotus Monkey or whatever the fuck your local game store is called. You're helping one of them, which is fine. That's all good. Yeah, all for that. Well, I'm not helping my local game store if I buy Proxies. Well, go to some tournaments. Show up there. What's the margin on cards anyways? Well, they give out store credit, and then the Fatzos use the store credit to buy Mountain Dews and Snicker bars and candies, and the margin on that is, I don't know, you go to Costco and you buy a whole thing of Snicker bars, where it's such a pain in the ass and so hard to turn a profit as a local game store that, I guess the biggest help that you could do is just show up each week and go, here's $100. Here you go. Just take it. Here's a donation. Ring it up as, I don't know, just say that you had a swamp. I'll buy the swamp and get for $100. There you go. It's just a generic swamp from Bloomborough or whatever swamps you have a bajillion of back there. Give me one in a draft in your chaff pile, and I'll pay $100. That would help them. Then their margin is 99.9%. It's massive. So that argument is kind of null and void. The investment one is stupid because you're not beating the S&P 500 with Magic the Gathering cards. You have a physical product that you have to keep track of, and if you've been in Magic very long, then you've seen the stories on Reddit or heard them or read about them or seen a video about them that somebody lost their deck. Their $15,000 legacy deck that had all these lands, or I guess $15,000 is a lot for a legacy deck, but $2,000 legacy deck. Their $60,000 vintage deck, because you lose that? How do you lose that? I don't understand. I've never lost a deck ever once, and I've gone to all sorts of events and flown to events, and my deck comes out, I play with it, my deck goes away, I put it in my backpack, my backpack goes on my back, my back stays with me. Like, how do you lose that? What are you doing? Well, here, hold this, and I'll go wander around, and I don't even know who you are. Have we met? Well, you seem like a good guy to hold my deck. No, don't do that. That's dumb. That's a really bad idea. Don't do that. If you are like me, and the times that you play Magic the Gathering is primarily with friends, then these are not investments, and it sure as shit is not helping the Wizards of the Coast. It's not attaboy, yes, a vote. It's not a vote with your wallet for them. What you are doing is not that much different than playing a game of Monopoly. And you could say, cool, I'm playing a game of Monopoly. How does that connect to Magic the Gathering? I don't see the parallel there. Well, here's the thing. Monopoly needs game pieces. And in Monopoly, at least in some of the rules, it even says the bank can never run out of money. If you do run out of the money provided with the game, you just go and get some scraps of paper and write more. You just do that. You could write $10,000 if you need it on a giant slip, and then, okay, now we've got these giant bills, huge denominations. You can do that. So you can't run out of money in Monopoly. You can just write whatever you want. But now imagine there was a group of people that said, well, that really isn't helping Hasbro when you go and you just make your own money. What you really should be doing is purchasing their money packs. And their money packs, which includes a random assortment of ones and fives and tens and fifties and whatever the denominations are in Monopoly. I don't even know. That's you might not get what you need, but that's what really helps them. And you should do that. Okay, I guess I could do that, or I could just buy what I need from some guy, and those are the official ones. And okay, yeah, that's okay too. That's all right too, because that guy, somewhere along the line, those had to come from somebody buying the packs of the money. And sometimes you just get all 50s and you didn't need 50s. You needed 10s because your dog ate them or then vomited them up. And then there you go. You got to clean up dog vomit. That's a bunch of Monopoly money. Fun times. Or you could just go and do it yourself. That's a thing. My wife and I did that when we were first getting into Legacy. We've gotten into and out of Magic a few times. Oh, I've never heard that story before. But we'd heard things about Legacy, and I had always wanted to try some of these different cards and play with decks that you just can't do if you're trying to play Standard or Modern or Pioneer. So I wanted to play Legacy because you can play with basically, it's the second largest pool, I think. Yeah. I think it's a little bit smaller than Vintage because Vintage has Power 9 in it, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. And maybe Vintage just has more, not bans, but more restricted stuff. It's just full on go nuts with most cards that exist. And I wasn't interested in derping around with cards with Black Lotuses in there because at the time, Proxies weren't even on my radar. I still don't know that I care to even dabble with Vintage. I don't know, maybe. But what my wife and I first did is we went to, where is it? Let's see if I can find this site. Proxy Maker. I think it's called MtG Proxy Maker. It's got a little fairy. MTG print. Yeah, this one right here. And let me see here. Bring it up full screen. You find the deck that you like. Where's my camera controls? Here we go. You find the deck that you like, you dump it in here, and you can even select the version that you like. There you go. And then you print it out. It puts it on an 8x11 piece of paper, just a regular printer paper, and you're off to the races. And we did that. And you can absolutely, with not that much difficulty, play with sleeved pieces of paper, just straight up printer paper. It's way flimsier, granted. Yeah, it's floppy, but it works with the paper and the sleeves. You've shuffled sleeves, you've moved sleeves around, probably, right? I assume so. Dragon Shields, something like that. There's enough substance, enough mass there that you can shuffle it. It's not that big of a deal, which is exactly what we did. We played multiple decks, and we tried some different things out. I was trying to make fairies work. They don't really work. I like small creatures. I like tricksy creatures. So I'm a big fan of fairies. I loved Lorwyn when that came out. That's when I first really got into Magic. I first got into it during Urza Saga, and then really got into it during Lorwyn. I remember buying a box of Lorwyn. Don't have any of those cards now, but what does it matter? I don't care anymore. And we tried some different decks out. Fairies aren't very good, but now I have this ninja deck that I have kind of taken from here and there and put some of my own spice in there. It's mostly the Ornithopters with Yakiro's Tiger Shadow, and then my wife has a Azorius Artifacts deck, which I think she found some other Artifacts affinity deck and then added Azorius because she likes white, so it's got Esper Sentinels and the Kappa Cannoneer, Urza, Sai, Master Thopterist, the usual suspects. And we came to these decks by proxying them. We didn't pay a cent. We did not pay a single dollar to play those decks. And then once we found decks that we liked and went, okay, these are good, and we weren't looking to be competitive. We just wanted to play against each other. That's it. We're not trying to build decks to beat each other. We're building decks that we enjoy playing, that have characters and motifs and ideas that we like. I like Dimir. I do like white as well. So I guess I kind of like Esper, but I don't like Control. I hate the way Control plays, generally speaking, mostly because of what it's doing to my opponent. I don't like that. I know some people do, and I don't have anything against that exactly. I think it's kind of slimy if that's what you really derive pleasure from, is making somebody miserable and just shutting them out. That's kind of not cool. But just the I like certain control decks, that some that are kind of silly, like Approach of the Second Sun back when that was out and a thing in standard. I thought that was really fun. These alternative win conditions. I might try and build a deck around Thassa, that Merfolk Oracle. That seems kind of fun. I don't want to do the Doomsday version. Oh, we could remove my deck, and then once you do that, it's like very much a one trick pony. Once you do it, then that's it. I'd prefer if Thassa was an option, not the way to win. That's why I'm not interested in building Doomsday. On that note, I actually believe that I'm going to try and make a deck. Again, this is not to be competitive. It's just because it seems fun to me. I want to do it with Sarah the Benevolent, because ever since I learned that Sarah was an angel and the whole Sarah's avatar, Sarah this, Sarah that, Sarah's angel, back in Urza's, and even before that, but that's Savitar or Sarah's avatar. I remember. I think that's the card. Is that what it is? It's like a samurai standing there. Sarah, avatar. Sarah, avatar of what the heck? What? No, avatar of Sarah. Is that it? No. What the heck is this card? Sarah avatar. Sarah power and toughness each equal to... Yeah. That's it. Gatherer. Here we go. Yeah, this one right here. Sarah avatar. Originally in Urza Saga, and it's been printed a few other times. Printed... Does it show other versions? Sets and Legality. Dominaria Remastered. Okay, whatever. I always thought this card was really cool. I think it was maybe one of the first star cards I saw back when I was however old I was back then, 15 or something. I thought, whoa, star. It doesn't even have numbers. It's got stars. Holy crap, what does that mean? Equal to your life, each equal to your life total. Oh my god, it'd be a 20/20 if I got that out there and I hadn't taken any damage. Oh my, forget all that. Just forget the requirements. It'd be a 20/20. It'd be a 20/20. Holy crap, that's so cool. And then Sarah isn't dead. She lives on through me. Whoa, who's Sarah? Whoa, I just remember thinking that was really cool. And then when Sarah came out as a Planeswalker, I thought, oh, that's really cool. Too bad my wife and I are so deep into Standard. Damn, I can't play her in Standard, and I don't have Modern. But now I can build a Legacy deck. So I'm thinking of building some... It won't be competitive. All I wanted to do is work. So if you have ideas about what this would look like, I'm thinking it's something with Sarah the Benevolent. I think it'll be Esper. I don't want to do control. I'm thinking more of like a mid-range thing with Lifeline, which was also from Urza Saga, and which is one of my favorite, if not my favorite artist, D. Gregory Alexander. One of my favorite artists. I just really like his style. And Lifeline says if a creature dies, you can put one back out. So the whole idea would be, as long as I have a creature, and creatures just keep on coming back, I just can't be killed. So, that's fun, right? Although now that I've said it aloud, that does sound kind of stupid. Anyhow, I'm getting off the track here about proxy cards. So let's talk a little bit more about that and wrap this up. Proxy cards are an incredible way for pretty much anybody, unless your budget is $0, to get into Magic and play the game that you want to play. I truly, at this point, don't understand the point of buying a real version of any one of these cards. Aether Vial for $20 odd, Caverns of Souls for whatever they're at, $30-40 these days, Tundra for $600. Actually, I don't know what the Italian one would go for, but I know the revised, I think, are $600. Same, a bit more for the Underground Seas. Those are always the most expensive ones. But the full black border Italian, I'm guessing, is somewhere in the higher hundreds, the triple digit hundreds. That's what hundreds are, Del. Triple digits. There you go. Oh boy. Maybe quad digits? I don't know. I'm not sure. But it's certainly at least $500. So if you want 4 in your deck, which might not be a great idea, but if you wanted to own 4, to own a playset, you're looking at almost certainly a minimum of $2,000. Unless you don't care which version, you just go to TCG Player and you're looking for damaged ones. Okay, maybe you can get away for 4 for half that amount, for $250 a piece. Maybe somewhere in the range of $1,000, $1,200. Yeah, $1,500 for sure. But it's still a lot of money. Maybe you get away with $800, 4 of them at $200 a piece because there's a corner missing or something, and it looks like shit. Which actually brings me around to wondering. I hesitate to say this because I don't want to give somebody an idea, but honestly, I don't give a shit at this point. I wonder how many cards are in circulation that did not come from unofficial printer, were not opened out of a pack, but instead showed up in a bubble mailer from some person that makes really good copies. Because if you go into a store and you see a binder there and you're flipping through it and the guy behind the counter is watching you and you see a card, you assume, given all the indications around you, that that's a real card. You didn't walk into a shop that says, Proxies are us, none of the cards in here are real cards. No, you walked into Lotus Keeper's Headdress. You walked into the Dragon's Hoard and Games, something like that. And you assume that they're purchasing real cards and thus selling real cards. But how many of the people know exactly what is a real card? I have held thousands upon tens of thousands of Magic cards. No, I've never held a loop to one, but I've done the whole, let's take a phone flashlight because those are pretty bright. Woo, that's pretty bright. And we'll just shine that right through there. And does it come right through super easy? Not on this. I can't see anything. Can you? Can you see anything there? Oh, it's the foiling. It's the foiling, dude. Okay. The foiling looks good to me. Let's take a Cavern of Souls. Can you see anything there? Boy, if you can, it is minimal. It is minimal. Is it on? Yeah. It's on. It's minimal. It is really, really hardly there. The point being is that if you want to play Magic and you want to sit down across from your buddies, you want to go to FNM, you want to go somewhere, and you want to play with some cards. Honestly, I don't know who's going to take out their loop, their jeweler's loop, and look for there's something to do with green dots or something. I don't even know. I don't know. But if I was flipping through these in somebody's folder, I wouldn't think anything of it. I would think that these were totally 100% legit cards. Now, I don't have side by side. The only one of these that I have is, as I showed in the clip there, the Aether Vial. That's the only one. I plan to get some others so I can see side by side, but I don't really care that much. It's more of a curiosity thing. So, thoughts on Bootleg Mage? I think that the community is cool. I like that there's a vibrant community there and that people are talking, answering questions, doing things like this. I think that this is one of the more long-form talks, reviews, discussions about proxies in general, but keeping it on Bootleg Mage right now, there's a couple things that I would like. I'd like a quicker turnaround, and if that requires bringing another person on board to make that happen, or another 2 people, that would be cool to see. I would also like to see a way to filter what's in stock and not in stock. Let me pull up the website so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. There is a kind of a janky way I'll show you here, but it is still kind of annoying. So if we're looking at Bootleg Mage right here and you go to shop, you can see here, this one, 3 Tree City, says read more. Well, that means that one is not in stock. If we click on it, let's open a new tab real quick here. Get notified when available. Whereas this one, add to cart, there you go. You can add to cart. There's 22 in stock. So I wish there was a way to just select, and there's got to be a way to tell the website, if there's anything that says read more here, don't show up, just a filter. Anything that is not in stock, don't show up. Anything, and leave everything else. So I wish I could just filter that. That's one thing. I wish the turnaround was a little bit quicker. I don't know why. I placed 2 orders, and the second one got shipped so much sooner than the first one that I have the first one. I opened it up. It arrived on, I think, 2 days ago, and once I actually had this one in hand, the other one still hadn't shipped. That is now, well, it's definitely now. Maybe by the time you see this, it'll have been arrived, but there was like a week plus lag there. So that was kind of annoying. Not a huge fan of that, especially when the other one was what I ordered first. Okay, what the heck? So a quicker turnaround time, a way to filter things, and maybe like a vote system. Right now, the only thing that you were able to do to potentially get a card submitted to be created into a card is a suggestions thing. I don't know if anybody's looking at that. I assume so. I don't know which ones are being picked. I don't know how that works, but it'd be cool if there was some sort of page. Here are the ones that have nominated as possible contenders for things that we can make that we think would be good to make, whatever parameters they have to go off of. Vote on which ones that you would like to see or which ones you don't want to, something like that. So there is a little bit more idea of what would actually be coming. Although there is something to be said about there being a little bit of a surprise and not knowing exactly what's going to show up. Apparently, as of this recording on Wednesday, in a couple of days, there's going to be another drop and new things will be revealed. I don't know how long it takes to get these cards done, what goes into it. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. I don't know if it's somebody working an extra shift at Carta Monday over in Belgium or Japan at one of these card printers. But this is not coming off of somebody's inkjet, their Epson, their brother, the just regular office printer. That is not what's happening here. No, these are actual legit cards. Like here's a card. You bend it. I remember the ones that I got before. You could not do that. It was clearly something was wrong with them. I remembered them as being extra thick. My wife said that they were really thin. So something was off about it. I'm just going to do a little test here. I'm going to take, let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Are any of these? Okay, that's a fairy rogue double-sided token. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got 10 cards here. These are real cards that I purchased from Card Kingdom. We got a bunch of fairy rogues, Hymn to Torok, it's an older one, and then a swamp from Lorwyn. I'm going to take an Aether Vial, 1, Cavern of Souls, 2, Seed of the Synod, 3, Chrome Mox, 4, Mishra's Bubble, 5, Orcish Bowmaster, 6, Urza, and a Murktide Regent. Let me see, how many is that? 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I'll take out 2 of these cards then. I'll take out the Hymn to Torok and the Swamp there. Now, I'm just going to shuffle these a little bit, or a fair bit. I want to get them all mixed up. I guess I got to take out Urza because I can see the back of him. That's when it's going to be easy to spot. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And I'm going to see if just going off of feel, if I can tell which ones are real and which ones are not. Back as I shuffle these, my brother asked me when I was showing him the 2 Aether Vials side by side, he said, how can you tell then? How do you know? Honestly, if I hadn't taken a marker, a Sharpie, and ran it along the sides, and maybe you can see right there the corner, and marked them all, I don't know that I would be able to tell once it was all said and done. I do remember that the foiling on the real Aether Vial was more, it covered more, like it was like a whole layer over the whole thing, whereas on the Proxy, which I actually like better, it was easier to see the lines of the art. So I actually prefer the way that one looks. Okay, here we go. All right, let's see. I'm not looking at the front because I know which ones at this point are real and which are not. This first one, I'm feeling the back to see if I got that. That's the main thing I'm going off of. I think this is a fake one. Yes, that is a fake. Okay, that's a Proxy. This next one, It's got kind of a waxy feel. It's a little bit smooth. The edges, the back edges do not have that. So either I did a good job on this one or it's a real. I'm going real. No, that's okay. Cavern of Souls, not real. Next one. I think this is real. This one, right away, the edges felt nice and smooth to me. No. Okay, another not real. This one I don't think is real. I think it's a proxy, I mean. Yeah. I think this is a proxy. Yes, okay. And the bottom edge here just felt a little bit more rough. So I'm going to run that. Just do that there. Yomp, yomp. Maybe that helped, maybe not. I don't know. I think it helped a lot from where it had been. Okay, this has got to be real at this point, right? Yeah, that's a rogue. Okay, fairy rogue. This one, not real. Okay, yeah, got that one. Real? Yes. Yeah, real. Yes, fairy rogue, okay. Not real. Oh, okay. I think I'm about half. I think I'm about half right at this point. Maybe a little bit less right than right. Thought I had an ant on me there. Real. Yep, fairy rogue. Okay, good. Got that one. Ooh, this one's... It's not quite waxy, not quite rough. God, the bend. Oh, I'm going to say not real. Okay. I think it's more like 60-40 in favor. Ooh, this one's kind of waxy. I'm going to say not real. Okay, not real. Got that one. Yeah, I think it's like... I've gotten more wrong than right. Real. Another fairy, okay. Too many of those fairy rogues. Not real. Okay, and then this last one, I haven't kept track of how many I've got here, but I think this is not real. Not real, okay. I kind of looked at the pile, so I sort of cheated in a way. Point here is that you might think, oh, you knew, you were looking something somewhere, you knew. No, I didn't know. Who? I don't have anything to fucking prove here. I'm just trying to show you how similar to real cards are. And if I had gotten, these are all like so many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, okay. So they were all fairy rogues. So at least they had all that going for me, or for them. If I had gotten 8 cards from different sets, different time frames, some from the 90s, some from the 2010s, some from the 2020s, from all 30 years of Magic, say 10 cards of each era in different sets, 1 card from just all over the place. This set, that set, Odyssey, Onslaught, Urza Saga, Tempest, Bloomburrow, Duskmourn, all over the place, and got 10 proxies. There's 30 and 30, 60. I would just be pure guessing. What I'm trying to say here is assuming you do that, you smooth out the back. That is one caveat there. No fucking way you're gonna tell. No, not by feel. Not by feel. And that was a big hang up for me because they look, I mean, come on, give me a break. These are they look so damn close. I don't know. What's your argument for paying hundreds of dollars to somebody that are you here's a question. Let me end on this. I assume you want to save money when you're playing Magic the Gathering. I imagine that's the case. I don't think that you want to spend as much as you possibly can. That's a strange individual that wants to do that. So if you want to save money, then I imagine you go looking for deals. You either buy from TCG Player, you're sorting, you're looking, okay, who's got a good deal? I'm looking for the lowest price, but also I want a good quality card. Why are you doing that? No, seriously, why are you doing that? Are you doing it because you want to build a deck? Are you doing it because you want to help that TCG player? Do you want to actually, oh no, I know this person, I want to help put food on his table and help him pay rent? Well, you could do that by just sending him some money. Well, I want to get something out of it too. Okay, fair enough. If that's your reason, then all right, more power to you. You want to help your buddy out that has his TCG Player store. Cool, fine. But if that isn't you, and you just want to play the game, then why look at a shopping cart on Card Kingdom or TCG Player that is hundreds, if you want to get real spicy, or thousands of dollars, even tens of dollars, when you could get the same cards, not all of them, admittedly. It's not like there's 100% of inventory here, so if there's going to be a lot of cards that you might want and then you just can't get. But let's say you can get half of your deck from Bootleg Mage. Why not do that? Why not? Because it feels wrong? That was part of the hang-up for me. There was the finance aspect, there was the helping Wizards of the Coast out. It sounds so ridiculous when I say that. And then there was kind of a feel of, oh, I'm doing something. It's kind of dirty. It's kind of wrong. I don't feel that way anymore, though. Wizards of the Coast is not the company that they once were, and I don't give two flying rats fucking asses about their existence. If they were to go completely bankrupt tomorrow and be like, no more Magic cards, it's completely done, it's no more, that's it, dead. Okay. I'm pretty sure the community of some millions of players would pick up where they left off. Or some other company would come along and buy the rights if they were up for sale. Or something like what happened with Android Netrunner would happen and people would just start making cards. Or people would do what I already mentioned earlier and they'd dump all the cards into an AI and they'd start making cards, and then you'd have Bootleg Mage and friends showing up and going, oh, hey, yeah, sure, we can make cards. I know printers, I've got this and that, and suddenly you've got a whole new business there. There's no risk, zero, literally zero risk of Magic the Gathering as a game just dying and all of the people going away because you didn't buy cards from TCG Player or Card Kingdom or Star City Games or your local game store. The entirety of Magic as a community, as a game, isn't going to go up in smoke because you spent $30 or $100 or $300 on Bootleg Mage as opposed to spending $300 or $1,500 or $10,000 on pick your favorite retailer. I kind of mushed it all together. So that's my really long-winded review of Bootleg Mage and the cards and proxying. TLDR, buy from Bootleg Mage if you want to save yourself some money, and buy with confidence that what you're getting is you're getting real Magic cards is what you're getting. That's what you're getting for a minute fraction of the price. So do with that information as you will.